Hello everyone, Jerry the Geologist here, back for another geology lesson. Today's lesson is called The Earth Inside Out, Part 1. Before we get started, there's an important word I want to teach you. It's the word eroded. Eroded means worn away, and it usually occurs when wind or water wear away bits of the earth, the soil, or rocks. Erosion played an important role in creating the three landforms we're going to visit today. First is the Grand Canyon. Found in the United States, this is a place we've visited before in our prior lesson. In the Grand Canyon, water eroded rock away to create this magnificent structure over millions of years. Our second stop is Arches National Park in Utah. Here, wind, ice, and rain eroded rock to create these magnificent structures. Our final stop is on the other side of the world in Australia, where the mysterious Uluru Rock gives geologists clues about how rock eroded in this Australian grassland millions of years ago.
Hello kids, it's me, Jerry the Geologist. Welcome back for another geology lesson. This morning when I woke up, I thought, I'm gonna dig a hole today. So I'm out digging a hole, and you look down here. Every time my shovel goes into the earth, it brings up a load of soil. And sometimes I even find some rocks when I'm digging. Today I'm going to use this hole to teach you about the outer layer of the Earth's surface. Let's learn more.
Beneath your backyard, the sidewalk, the school, actually, beneath most every place people live, there is soil, which is sometimes called dirt. Different types of soil appear in the earth in layers. Each layer of soil is made of different things, which can give it a different color or a different texture. The thickness of the soil is different depending on where you live. In some places on Earth, the soil is several feet thick. In other places on Earth, it is just a few inches thick. And in some places on Earth, there is no soil at all. Here where I live, the soil is rich and dark near the surface. However, as I dig deeper into the earth, the colors inside the earth change. The color in this soil has changed from dark brown to bright red. That color change means I have reached a layer of reddish clay. It's getting a little harder to dig now, so I'll have to use my pickaxe. Ooh, my pickaxe just hit something really hard below the red clay. The farther I go down, the harder the clay becomes. Pretty soon, I will hit bedrock, a solid layer of hard rock that I won't be able to dig through with my own shovel. I dug this hole to show you that there are different layers of soil and rock. The farther you go into the earth, the more things change. The dark soil on top is fairly easy to dig into with a shovel, but the deeper layer of clay is harder to dig because it has been squished by pressure of everything above it. This diagram shows you what the inside of the earth would look like if you could cut a big chunk out of it. The crust is the outermost layer of the earth, represented here by a thin brown line. I have been digging into the crust today. Most of the earth is rock, and most of that rock is beneath the crust in the other three layers: the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. The distance from the surface where you and I live all the way to the middle of the inner core is nearly 4,000 miles. This is one thick planet. I will teach you more about the mantle, outer core, and inner core next time. For now, let's focus on the thinnest layer, the crust. In some places, the crust is thin and only about 3 miles deep. In other places, the crust is thicker, about 20 miles deep. Most people, plants, and animals live on the surface or outermost edge of the crust. Remember, the Earth's surface is covered by oceans and continents. Everything alive on Earth lives in, on, or above these oceans and continents on the crust. For example, you and your dog live on the crust, but worms and moles live underground or in the crust. Birds fly in the air above the crust. The crust is where geologists like me look to learn about the history of the Earth. In the crust, we find different layers of rock, which teach us about different periods of time in the Earth's history. Each layer of rock was formed during a different period. We can study each layer to learn about different times in the Earth's history. Geologists search the crust for clues about the history of the Earth. I already introduced you to this place called the Grand Canyon. Here, the geology of the Earth's crust sits like an open book waiting to be read. The different layers of rock tell geologists when this place was covered by oceans and when it was not. Geological or earth changes can do all sorts of tricky things to the rock on the Earth's crust. These formations in Arches National Park in the state of Utah show what thousands of years of wind, rain, and ice erosion can do to this type of stone. Some rocks are mysterious. This rock, called Uluru, or Ayers Rock, is the only tall thing in an otherwise flat grassland in Australia. Geologists have figured out that it is left over from a time when the entire surface there was covered in this type of rock. Eventually, all the other rock eroded away due to wind and rain, and only this one mound of rock remained. Different places tell different stories. Not all interesting rocks are above ground. This photo shows a cave. A cave is an area in the Earth's crust that has been hollowed out, usually as a result of underground water flowing in and dissolving the rock over millions of years. Caves are really amazing places to explore. People usually do not think too much about what is happening underground, deep below our feet, but the fact is that what happens deep underground has everything to do with what we see in the world around us. Next time, we'll take a closer look at what's happening in those other layers. I'd better go ahead and fill in this hole now. See you next time.